My name is Greg. I am your guide master today. Welcome to the 6 transformational paths. Today we're going to cover all of these strategic areas: stillness, scaling dreaming, creator, sports passionate, authorship, and thinker path. We believe today discipline starts. Freedom will begin tomorrow, and you will be establishing your legacy forever. We want to welcome you to join us at our website, 6tpwclub.com, where you can plug in and get this kind of information every single day. We also want you to join our school community, 6TPSW Club, and continue to share with us our journey and your journey, and let's do it together. So let us begin with our first framework. As you can see here, stillness, for those who are new, talks about developing your inner peace. Every member grows through all of these 6 steps of transformation. Scale a Dreamer talks about your vision and stretching your visions and having big goals, really goals that are beyond your belief. Our creative path really focuses on purpose. Our sportsmanship pathway really understands and believes that health is your wealth and vitality is important for you reaching your goals. And we all believe in the authorship path, which means that everyone has a story and everyone has something to share in wisdom. And last but not least, we believe that leaders are readers. And as we think and read and grow together, we're going to learn very critically from others who have succeeded prior to us. So let's begin with the stillness. Let's begin the stillness. But before we get started, I want you to find a chair. I want you to find a couch. I want you to find something to sit on. Because one of the things that we want to do in part of the stillness path is to quiet our minds. We want to connect with ourselves and we want to strengthen our spirits. So as we participate in this 5-minute exercise here, I want you to ask yourself afterwards, where in my life do I need more peace and less noise? So let me give that to you again. Where in my life do I need less more peace and less noise? So let's begin. Let's begin. So is everyone seated down? Everyone have a chair? I'm sitting down in a chair right now, and I'm going to begin the process. So our purpose in the stillness path is to really help us to move from scatteredness to being grounded and in presence. The great news, everyone, you don't need any equipment. You don't need to leave your house. You can do it exactly where you are. So as we begin, I want you to be seated. I want you to have your feet flat, and I want you to have your spine tall. And we're going to do a couple of exercises that are going to set the tone for you to be at peace with yourself. So one of the things I want you to do, we're going to give you permission to close your eyes right now, or soften it by looking down to the floor. Get into that peace. Understand what's happening right now. So right now, you all have arrived, and one of the things that I want you to understand is that I want you to be able to arrive at this place right now, and there's nowhere else that you have to be. We want you to breathe, and we're going to breathe. We're going to count to 10. Breathe in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Release. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Release. 1, 2, 3, 4. We want you to pay attention to your body right now. And one of the things that we want you to do is that we want you to let your jaw drop down, let your shoulders relax. We want your hands on your legs relax, keep them very loose, and we want you to be able to notice how you feel. Notice how comfortable you feel right now. So let's breathe in again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We want you to release. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do it again. 1, two, three, four, five. Right now, I want you to, in your mind, you don't have to write it down, you don't have to grab anything. We want you to stay in this attitude, and we want you to think of one word of how you feel right now. We're going to conclude this by sharing afterwards. What's one word you feeling in this space right now? Okay, so now we're going to practice breathing again. We want all of you to inhale and exhale. We're going to do one, inhale, two, three, four, five. We want to exhale. One, two, three, four, five. Got to breathe again. One, two, three, four, five. And exhale. One, two, three, four, five. So as we conclude our stillness, I want each member today, we welcome you. We're glad you're here today, to introduce that word that came to your mind as we were in that place of stillness. So, Sister Rosario, what was that word that came into your mind? That one word.
Peace.
Peace. Awesome, awesome. Brother Vic, what was that one word that came into your mind as we were in that place of stillness? How did that feel, Vic, being in that place?
It felt great. And I'm going to invent a word. It's going to be called God validated.
Okay. God validated, God filled, God blessed, whatever you are. You always added another word. My word that I felt was fulfillment. I believe we approach our big goals in this club, it's possible. Dr. Pena, what word came to your mind as you were at that place of stillness?
Peace, peace.
Peace. Okay, awesome, awesome. Peace. Peace. All right, so let's continue going. Let's continue on with our next path here, which is our scaling dreamer path. And thanks to our leadership, Dr. Pena encourages us to really dream big, to have a big, audacious goal that's so crazy that everyone looks at you, right, Dr. Pena, and says, hey,
Yes.
you're a little crazy. But the opportunity is to take massive action. That's the goal. That's the dream. That is the vision. Because if you don't have a big goal, you're going to finish early and go home. You're not going to go for that next mile, that next marathon, that next ultra marathon. So one of the things we want you to do is to create your vision, clarify your vision, and design your life to have that always in front of us. So what's one bold action that you want to take in July 15th, 2026 that you have on your list that you read every morning and every night before you go to bed and say, I will be doing this. Brother Vic, what's your one of your big goals that you have?
Just to be an outstanding writer, published, well read, and someone that people want to ask as a result to come speak and be a motivator to people.
Awesome. A bestseller author, a motivator, a great public speaker, great. Dr. Pena, what's one big goal you have, action you want to take right now, July 15th, 2026?
It's mastering the crux of traffic and conversion,
Mm.
winning the goat.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
How can I master every day? Find a way to master the goat, to master the crux, the traffics and conversion.
Awesome, awesome. And this is not a trick question, Dr. Pena. Is it fair to say that you can or can't do that by yourself without systems, without tools, without social media, without school, without website? Could you do it by yourself?
No, it's impossible.
It's impossible, right?
I have
But
to
through
bring I have to
systems,
bring the team. I have to bring the team.
the team, automation, systems, school, with those things in place, is that possible?
That's possible, yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, great, great goals, great vision. Sister Rosario, what's one big bold action you want to take July 15th, 2026?
Okay, today, July 15th, 2026, I want to attend a dance class, a professional dance class, that is making small steps towards my big, audacious goal that I'm going to create some personalized steps for the 60P exercise.
Awesome, awesome. Well, my big goal is to schedule 3 high-paying client appointments this week. 3 high-paying clients, not the free version, the high-paying clients, and set them up for appointment within the next 7 days. So these are all possible. They're all part of our scaling and dreaming path, and together we could achieve all of these obstacles together. So let's continue going. We're going to go through our creator path. We believe we believe that it's important and powerful to write on a regular basis because our ideas comes from thoughts, and if we don't document it and write it down, tomorrow we forgot about it. So one of the things we want you to do is we want you to live on purpose. So let's use this exercise. It's a very simple exercise, and it's one of the things that has stimulated me as a floss for my mind for ideas. So I'm going to ask you 3 questions. I want you to take a piece of paper down and write them down and answer them. There's going to be the fuel for your writing exercise. I love my family. Why? Why is my family so important to me? That's the number question. I love my family. Why are they important to me? That's one. If I had full resources to write a book today, what would I like to write about? And last, how am I feeling today? And how do I see 2026 ending? So you can share any one of them. So who wants to share what their insight is? Uh, Dr. Pena, you love your family. Why are they important? What did you write down?
They show me love and to love people.
And could you elaborate about
Yeah,
why
it's
it's important?
family means generosity. Um, pay attention to someone, make them grow, have the best intentions for them. Constantly, thinking about them, suffering because of them, and you go to the deepest concept of loving someone beyond yourself. So, I love my family. They allow me to love myself, love people, and really, really care profoundly and deeply about a human being.
Awesome. So I heard multiple chapters about giving and receiving. I heard about generosity. I heard about unconditional love, and I heard about creating a legacy where that exists. Wow, that's a book already. I know it's not on your bookshelf, Dr. Pena, but you already have another book in store. Okay, so Sister Rosario, how do you see 2026 exploding? What thoughts came to your mind that excites you today? What'd you write down? What's a few words you wrote down?
2026, becoming. That's the, let me see if I 2026, the word that comes to my mind is becoming. The way my life is changing, the way I'm learning to scale in many areas, um, the way I am changing for a better me.
Wow. So, Sister Rosario, you have a new book, Becoming. Here's my journey. Here's who I'm becoming. And your best is yet to come. And I see you at the top because I say that all the time, Sister Rosario, because the bottom is too crowded. So, you already have a name of a book that you didn't even know you had. So, Becoming. Awesome. Awesome. Just little prompts, little questions that allow you to really express yourself. Brother Vic, you got the last question. What comes to mind as you think around the thoughts you wrote down? We got family. We got 2026. What's it?
So what comes to my mind is my sermon from earlier today at prayer, which was about dressing up for the life that you want. And I can't think of a better life than one that is scaling for impact, right? Not just to grow myself, but to make others better spiritually, mentally, and physically. And we were reading Colossians 3:12, which talks about, being reminded that you are a set apart species and that God loves you unconditionally. And it just reminds me that if I have that validation, and that's why I chose the word God validation earlier, because if you have that validation from God, you don't have to look around and seek validation from others. So you just dress for the job that you want. You live the life that you want to live, despite what your bank account and despite what your circumstances dictate, right? And you scale with that intention that you were made to be more than what you are. You were made to be kings and queens. And so my mindset is all about making sure that when God looks in the mirror, right, because I was made in his image, that he doesn't see a sick beggar.
Awesome, awesome. Oh, that's a lot that you got with three questions, and you only answered one of them. So, as you see, the power of feeding our minds with inquiry and writing it down, each and every one of us has a positive thought and a direction that could be elaborated on. So, I welcome you to take this exercise every single day, write out and ask yourself a really positive question and just write down the first thing that comes into mind. So let's continue as we conclude our creative path. And I always want you to remember, what am I building today that only I can bring life? Because it starts with self and then it continues with the team. So let's continue with the sports bet. So today we're going to introduce our friend. We don't need any equipment. I don't even have sneakers on. I have a dress shirt on and shorts on. We're going to introduce our friend, the chair. And sometimes we get up and we don't have the capacity to go outside the beautiful Orlando like Dr. Pena and run around. And we just could do something in place. So we're going to introduce our chair today. For those of you who may wake up, may not be able to be fully functioning, we're going to use the chair as our best friend today. We're going to move, and we're going to encourage you to build endurance and embrace the challenge. So we're going to do some simple exercise. So if you find a chair, in the kitchen, in the room, I am going to pull out my chair. And today, one of the things that we're going to do is I'm going to pull out my shirt. Let's see if you can see me. Is that we're going to stand behind the chair, and then we're going to walk in place holding the chair. Okay, so we're going to count to 10. We're going to do 2 reps of this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Walk in place. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. We're going to walk in place again, standing behind the chair. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, so we're going to have you hold the top of the chair, and we're going to have you lift up your right leg up to your calves and hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, put that down. Lift up your other leg. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, we're going to do push-ups with the chair. It's very simple. You're going to lean forward. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to lean forward. We're going to do push-ups with the chair, standing up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now we're going to relax. We're going to shake our hands. We're going to loosen up. We're going to breathe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. So let me sit down on my chair. Come back to you. 4 simple exercise. Very easy to do. Leveraging your strength and the chair. And right there, we've done some movement. So, Brother Vic, I know it was simple for you. I know Dr. Pena, I know this was basic, Sister Rosado was basic, but if that's all you could do today, how do you feel about that? That you did 5 minutes of exercise today?
Well, I already feel accomplished and I'm hungering for more. So I know that now I'm going to complete that today with a nice walk somewhere during my day.
Awesome, and that's a great point you make, Vic. How you start your day is how your day grows and expands. And yes, you could get started and feel good that you moved. You don't have to stop there. So I'm sure Dr. Pena will make his way. Hopefully, it's not too hot. Dr. Pena was 95 degrees in New York, so we can't do that in the middle of the day. But Dr. Pena, what was your takeaway with 4 simple exercise? You leveraged the chair. We introduced a new tool today, the chair.
It's wonderful. So I like it. You know, I am getting this week again for recovery.
Hmm.
So I have my race on the 4th of July with my team in the Florida Creative Club of America. But I love it. Anytime something new that you need to move your body, that consciously you are going to your health as your wealth motto. It's really, really, really important. Love it.
Awesome, awesome. Our goal in this club, the Six Transformable Path, is to keep it simple, keep it easy, and this is something that everyone can do. Thank you for sharing, Sister Rosario. What you feel with those exercises? Pulling up your leg, holding the chair with support. Sometimes we need a little support, but we all did the exercise. How'd you feel, sis?
Fantastic. It reinforces my idea that exercise is different for different people. And we all exercise at different levels, but there is no excuses for not exercising, for not moving our body. We do it according to our ability, our strength, and what we can do at the moment. But there is no excuses. There is something out there for everyone.
Awesome. And in this club, you're going to learn lots of different ways to exercise. We use Strava, one of the tools that are available to track. We believe that tracking is important. But if you have on your notes today that you did 5 minutes of four different exercise, track it down. Track it down because movement is progress. So I want you to always ask yourself every single day, how did I move my body? And how did it fuel my passion? Victor said something. It felt good. He felt great. I forgot what exactly he said. And when you start your day feeling a place of peace, and then you feel good that you've moved your body, the rest is comes very naturally. So we appreciate you for participating in our sportsmanship path. We always introduce new approaches and simple techniques so that the excuses go out the window and your success gets documented. So let's go into our authorship path. As we know, we believe in reading, we believe in writing, and we believe that each and every one of you has a great thought that could be developed a book. A little while ago, we did a writing exercise, and it was discovered four new books came out. So, what's one idea that you have in mind that you believe that you want to start thinking about? Just an idea that you haven't thought about yesterday or last week or last month. That is just an idea that perhaps you may want to explore. So let's see, Sister Rizal, what's one idea, new idea you have today?
I think that we have to start from where we are. We have to start with the skill set that we have. And I noticed that a lot of people are starting with the cooking. They cook and they don't need a restaurant. They're doing it from their homes, and which is exactly how people does it in other Caribbean countries. So starting from where you are and with the skills that you have, and one skills that we have is that we can cook.
Awesome. So that's great. That is a skill set. That is a trainable item. So, Sister Martha, welcome. Good morning. What's one I you woke up this morning? It's a beautiful day. It's going to be a beautiful rest of your day. You have an idea that you woke up, or maybe you had it in your dream, or maybe you woke up this morning. You thought about something. What's that one idea that woke you up this morning?
Yeah, good morning.
Great morning, sister.
Uh, yeah, the idea to do something, to writing something um, about my granddaughter and me, and also do something about cooking because I got a lot of experience in that. I was teaching a vegetarian cooking class for many years. Um, I have a few different different subjects
Awesome, awesome. Let me
for
ask you.
for
Let me
that.
ask you a question, Sister Martha. If let's say you're going to write about both of them, that those ideas, you and your granddaughter, that's so powerful, or cooking, which one would you do first?
I think some the cook.
Cooking, okay. And if
Yeah.
you're part of the 6TP Club and we have coaches, certified coaches, and we're all right here right now who could help you do that, what would that look like? Would that be amazing or would that be amazing?
Of course.
Awesome, awesome,
Amazing.
awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome,
Yeah.
awesome. Great. Well, that's
Hmm.
why you're here at the 6TP Club because your ideas become innovation, becomes transformation. I woke up this morning about an idea about an audiobook. I had no idea that I had that a thought about it, and who knows, in this club right here, I may have an audiobook before I have a paperback or hard copy. So, Dr. Penny, what's one idea you woke up this morning? You might have wrote it down, or you might have told your wife, and you said, "Hey, honey, I got something new." We get something new all the time, right, Dr. Penny? What's one idea you got today?
I'm working on the priority social media, the 12 priority social media that I have of 31, and so that I can reach 116,200 follower instantly. How to like get better at bringing the 60p pill as an offer. I spoke with my son yesterday. We were talking about the crux, the scaling books, the science of scaling. And that's an idea that's, oh wow. So if I put the priority, what are those priority? How can I get them the offer? What's the innovative way to do that? Because that's the key.
Wow, very powerful. And connecting the dots sometimes creates explosion because you have the people there. They're already following you. But many of them have to be reintroduced or connected, and that's powerful. Scaling your social media to connect the dots. Brother Vic, what's a one idea you have? I said one, Vic. So don't give us 10.
No,
Just
I got you. I have this contract where I've got this book that's deliverable, this audio book that's deliverable on, the end of this month. I've got a book in September and a book in the spring, and I got this idea that was just living in me forever, which was this fantasy football league that I was, that I've been a part of for the last 20 years and that you participated in for a little while. It's about a bunch of friends who basically grew up in the hard streets of Harlem and we had to survive like gangs, like the Decepticons and the Latin Kings and the Bloods and the Crips, right? And instead, we fought each other, through video games, online video games. And we developed this fantasy football league. And the league itself is like a movie, right? You have bromance, you have love, you have, betrayal, you have competitiveness, one-upping people, and it's a microcosm of the culture that we all lived in, right? Dressed to impress all the time, trying to be better than the people around you. And I want to tell this story of how through that sub community that we had, how we all pushed ourselves actually through bullying and all these other things, right? To be like great people. And I can see a spin-off of a bunch of different books from each character in each screen name because I'm not going to name anyone by name, right? Because there's just too many stories in there that just violate legality, right? And I want to be able to tell that story without jeopardizing anyone. And so um, that's supposed to be in the back burner for sometime next year. But I just went on to our WhatsApp chat that's been running for like the last 10 years. And I just said, hey, this is an idea. I'm going to write this book about us, and this is the theme. And the chat blew up, and it's just people feeding story after story after story after story after story. And my AI was just like, you sure you don't want to fast track this book and make it right sooner and see if you can't deliver it for the fantasy football season that's coming up right now? I think that there are people who are fantasy sports jocks who would love to read this story. So keep it in mind. Don't deter from your goals, but keep this in mind. This could write itself if they keep posting in this chat like this, right? So that's what I'm creating.
Awesome, awesome. It starts with an idea and it segues perfectly. Dr. Pena could load up our book, our scaling book, and Dr. Pena said it himself. By himself, it's hard to reach your big goals, but with a team, with a system, it's all possible. So we're reading Benjamin Hardy's book, Scaling, and one of the things that it forces you to do is to really look at not your own strength, but having big goals, but leverage it and leveraging. So, Dr. Penny, we could pull up that book. I'll read the chapter where we are. And as we conclude our 6TP for the morning, we believe that we need to put our thinker's cap on. And Victor, I'm encouraging you and empowering you to think on your thinker's path and put your thinker's hat on and say, hey, I'm sitting on an idea. I've got lots of feedback. Sounds crazy. I don't have the time to do it. But what is possible? So put on your thinking path and let's read The Science of Scaling. And we're going to read a chapter here because we believe that every day we have to feed our mind. So, Dr. Penny, I'll start with psychologically. Time is a tool for making decisions. See, as you see, Brother Vic, I didn't even know this was coming up, and you can't make it up. Rather than separating the past, present, and future, as we typically do, I explain to them that how they frame their own past and future directly shapes their present decision and actions. Your past is a tool to improve your present. Great word. Let me say it again. Your past is a tool to improve your present. Your future is a power tool to improve your present. You can scroll up. The future holds far more weight in the decisions that we make than the past does. So, therefore, to utilize time more effectively. Oh boy, Vic, I mean, you can't make this up. Specifically, the future, you want to one, make it much bigger, as discussed in chapter one, and two, make the deadline far more aggressive, even seemingly impossible. Wow, I have to read that again. Make the deadline far more aggressive, even seemingly impossible. So raise your hand if this chapter that I didn't make up is speaking to you personally right now because it's like I didn't make it up. I was just reading from a book to prove to them that time, particularly their own future, is a tool they can use to scale much faster. I asked them to write down a big goal that they had for themselves today. Team, team members, didn't each and every one of us write a big goal today on Wednesday, July 15th,
Yes.
2026? Yeah, okay. This particular group embraces Jim Collins' bog, big, hairy, audacious goals. So we're not making this stuff up. We're coming with science. We're coming with history. We're coming with evidence. And Dr. Pena and his wife are very big with research. So Collins suggests that bogs are so big, often seemingly impossible, that they likely take 10 to 30 years to realize. Let's scroll up. I use the bog language. You can raise it up a little bit. I use the bog language they were raised with to shift them from their old management model into a new science of scaling. Richard wrote down where he wanted his life to be by his 65th birthday. 11 years from that time, in 11 years by 2035, Richard planned to sell off his investment portfolio in Bristol, have far more time to travel and be with Melissa and be a New York Times bestseller author and full-time business coach. I then asked the group how they would achieve their bog, big, hairy, audacious goal if they only had 3 years to do it. Wow, so much less time. How would compressing the timeline alter your strategy and focus here and now? Initially, Richard rejected the question. There's no way I could do this in 3 years. And we all say that too, right? We could say that. There's no way you could do that, right, Vic? No way. Was his immediate reaction considering his 11-year plan. Sensing some anxiety and concern among group members, I invited them to suspend judgment and stress. Look, I'm not telling you that you have to do this in 3 years. I'm just asking you to ponder how would you solve this if you did commit to doing it in 3 years. Don't take this too seriously. Use time as a tool, not a reality. I have to say that again, Dr. Perry. That's so powerful. Don't take this too seriously. That's important. Underline that in your book. Use time as a tool, not a reality. We'll conclude here because I gave the group a few minutes to journal about this. Raise your hand if you wrote something in your journal today. Everyone wrote something in their journal. That's why being part of this club, you participate in this journey. So he says, because I gave the group a few minutes to journal about this, Richard began entertaining the idea of shifting his 11-year bog into impossible 3-year goals. He stepped out of the room to grab a drink while letting the idea sink in, let it come in. That's why stillness is important. He realized this probably was a way he could reach his goal in 3 years, but he'll have to go about it in a totally different way from his current 11-year plan. We'll leave with this chapter. Though he never considered it before, rather than continuing to focus on and growing his investment business as he'd been planning, he would need to sell off that portfolio sooner. If he sold off those investments, he no longer continued spending 3 to 4 months per year in Bristol away from Melissa. Instead, he could reinvest. Let me say that again, reinvest. Underline that word, reinvest that money into more passive investments. Underline that, passive investments in the United States, and shift his focus entirely to being with Melissa and being a full-time coach and author. Wow, that's so powerful. Dr. Penny, what was your takeaway there? We can stop right there because that was a lot.
Yeah, it's amazing. So, what I remember is that my reaction, the reactions of everybody, and the reactions of my family, and the reaction I receive from everyone is like, this is what I'm going to do. I say, really? Really, are you crazy? And then there's a word that he uses here that is like key, that is like really important. Let me see. United States, no, it's over here. You repeat it somehow. Don't take this too seriously. Look, I'm not telling you that you have to do this in 3 years. I'm just asking you to ponder how you would solve this if you did commit to it in 3 years. Don't take this too seriously. Use time as a tool, not a reality. But what happened is that you take it as a reality. You know what I mean? So, and then you have to take it serious because you increase the floor. And you say, "Wow, wow, man!" Like, and then you say, "Wow, it would be great if I accomplish that." If I have an MRR of $1 million, imagine in this life, what can you do? What can you accomplish? What's gonna happen with the team? What's gonna happen with the family, with friends? What's gonna happen with the ideas? What's gonna happen with the thousands of people that you can read that are taking your pill? you know, that are becoming published author, that are becoming thinker, living longer, living life with innovations, bringing more impossible idea, using nothingness and mindfulness to conquer the dreams, the impossible dreams. It's an amazing. So I mean, like, you use it psychologically, but once you use it psychologically, you really want to go big in your very audacious goal. I mean, it's like, and now it's like, I am on it, because it's something that you wanted to, and it's good. And it's good for you, it's good for family. And then you make it your purpose. You go seriously about it, Don't take it seriously. Use them as a tool, not a reality. But when Hardy said, Benjamin Hardy says, okay, now I want to I need to finish my PhD. So I mean, it's gonna take a year probably or 6 months. And the wife told, "Hey, you're playing too much. Get it easy. Take it easy. Go to your friends and do it. Take the time that you wanted to." And he said, "Okay, probably gonna take me 6 months to do it." I say, "What about if I do it in 3 weeks?" And then that's what he did. He just sat down, closed everything, and 3 days dissertations was done. And it's like impossible goal. Imagine, oh wow, impossible goal in 3 weeks. I will finish my PhD. I'm gonna be a doctor. Finito, done. And also it's impossible. And that's the kind of a key. It's the same with you have to have the impossible goal. You have to use the times as a tool. You have to use the infinite as a tool. And in the realm of all the impossible goals, you will see that goal is impossible to you, but it's being realized every day. Isn't it that, Denizard?
Absolutely, absolutely. And Vic, you raised your hand when I said that you can't make this stuff up. That this chapter was speaking to you personally. So we preface it with a new idea you had, and you kind of pushed it down the line. Said maybe next year, and then you said, "Hey, let me not sleep on this in case it can happen in the next 2 months." But as I read this chapter, in animation form, because I think sometimes you have to repeat things because we read things so sometimes too fast and we don't realize, as Dr. Pena just did, that we have to go back again. And let me read that again because maybe I didn't hear it right. Maybe I was mistaken. No, I was not mistaken. So what was your takeaway as I'm reading this chapter from the Greg D. Or presentation? What was your takeaway? Why did you raise your hand and say, "Hey, that's me"?
My head is exploding because as people of faith, we are reminded that when God speaks to you, it's not going to be the heavens parting and some mythical figure coming out, pointing, going, "Ah, do this, do that." It's going to be little subtle things like this. And we need to, not only expand our capacity, but we also have to expand our discipline to be able to hear, right? Like, this is crazy, but it's doable, right? You have to make this happen, right? And so, yeah, I've got to like rethink now. How do I not break my contract to deliver my audiobook and my other book by September? And how do I fast track this all in the middle of this, right? And it's very easy to say, brother, you're doing too much, right? But I'm just going to see this all as I'm just being an author, right? And I'm just letting the creativity flow. And I'm just going to let my creativity take me to the river. I'm going to let this be a river that flows into the ocean, you know?
Well, you could follow your leader, Dr. Pena, too, because I asked him a very specific question. He was honest with us. Can you do this by yourself? He said no. But with a team, with systems, it's all possible. So you have to kind of get out of yourself and think of, do I have a collaborative team? You have all of this energy. There's probably going to be some writers there who could write a chapter or two, and next thing you know, your audiobook is done. So let's not do it in our own strength only because we're going to fail. But let's listen to our leader, Dr. Pena. He said, "Hey, no, by myself I can't do it, but with a team, it's possible." So,
Well,
Sister Rizara, you also raised your hand.
since you're
Huh?
speaking about that, before you move forward, I heard you say that you woke up with an audio book in your heart. Well, we have an audio book developed that just needs to be brought to the finish line. Let's do it together.
Listen, it's all good. Again, there's small audible voices where someone wakes up with an idea, not knowing where it's going to go, and then we find out that you have an idea. So I have a revelation with no plan, and you have a plan. So again, unless we communicate and share and write things down, this connection would have never happened. So be part of the sixth transformational path allows you to make connections that would have happened. Didn't happen yesterday, didn't happen last week, happened this morning on the sixth transformational path because I shared, because you wrote something down, because I pressed you to add what idea you have. As crazy as it sounds, you were very generous with sharing, and as a result, you're going to follow up with me because you're going to lead it. I'm going to participate. Sister Rosara, Sister Martha, any takeaways from this chapter? I know it was a lot there. Excited about continuing on using this book as part of our journey. Any thoughts, comments?
Well, I thought about use time as a tool, not a reality. It sort of stuck on me because then it could only become a reality if we make it come a reality, if we work collaboratively with others and we push to meet the deadline. So it is a tool that could become a reality.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, so today, as we conclude, we just want any new members who join or anyone who watches us for the first time on streaming, we are on YouTube, to understand that this process is a very simple process we do every day. We start with grounding ourselves and welcoming and being in touch with ourselves. We talk about our path, our authorships, and our vision, and we provide a simple teaching, whether it's through the sportsman or authorship, and we encourage each and every one of us to go after what we're going for with daily challenges And we always close out with our leadership, because we believe that we are part of this amazing network here. So again, our philosophy is discipline today, freedom tomorrow, legacy forever. We can easily be reached on 6tpwclub.com. That's our website. Go plug in. We're on our school platform. We believe that we're creating a great community for you to join in. And with that in mind, Dr. Pena, you could close us out. You could share any thoughts you have or takeaway from being part of this amazing organization and team that you created. So thank you for the opportunity to be your guide master today, Dr. Pena. You
It's
could
an
take it away.
amazing, it's an amazing presentation that we have wherever you are. You just go, as Gregory Denizard says, our 60p certified coach. Go to 60pswclub.com and you start as foundations and be part of this. You're gonna have your contract with us. You're gonna follow the flow, and you already know the ingredients. Do this every day. You're gonna be a published author. Your possible goals will be accomplished sooner than later. You're gonna have a team. Alone, I know, we know, Gregory. You know, that's what we say. Oh, I'm gonna have time for myself to do blah blah blah, to do this. You come 2 or 3 6 weeks or months, and you are in the same place. You know, you have the people to be there to hold you accountable, because this is not for the faint of heart. Gregory.
Awesome. We appreciate those kind words, and we thank you as being our leader. And again, we will see you all tomorrow. Go ahead on our YouTube page and watch the streaming. Share it with some of your friends and invite them to come. With open invitation to come on in. So everyone have a blessed day. Have a productive day, and see you all at the top, because the bottom is too crowded. Be blessed.
Amen.
Amazing. Bye bye.
Henry, where are you, Henry? Where are you, Henry?